As we get into multisyllabic words, we should return to the idea of reduced vowels and unstressed syllables. We touched on this when discussing the symbol schwa, which is used to represent the sound but only in unstressed syllables. The reason why we use a special symbol in this situation is that many vowels in English become mid-central vowels when they're in unstressed syllables, but they have a very different quality when they're in stressed syllables. For example, consider the second vowel in the word disability. Now it sounds like and it's unstressed, so we know that it should be transcribed with the symbol schwa. But what's interesting is that in a different form of that same word, disable, that same vowel sounds very different. By changing the stress pattern and having the stress occur on that second vowel, it no longer sounds like a mid-central vowel at all. In fact, it's a robust, clear, mid-front tense vowel, and it should be represented as the non-phonemic diphthong a. This is a good example of how some suffixes can cause words to shift stress to other syllables. And when this stress shift happens, vowel qualities can change with the shifting stress. In this case, it makes the most sense to think of the vowel in the word phonemically to be a. It's that vowel in the form able, in disable, in enable, in ableist, in redisablement, which I admit I just made up, but you can see how a word like that could have a real meaning, and if it did, it would be produced with the vowel a. But in the word disability, that vowel changes in a particular way. It becomes a mid-central vowel, and being unstressed, it must be represented as schwa. So, underlyingly in our heads, this word has the vowel a, but when the vowel loses its stress, it also changes its quality. Vowels that change quality when they're unstressed always move from the edges of the vowel quadrilateral toward the center of the vowel quadrilateral. They change from vowels that are more distinct to vowels that sound less distinct. For this reason, this process is called vowel reduction. English has many reduced vowels. Reduced vowels occur in words like comedic in the first syllable, in about in the first syllable, and in Madeline in the second syllable. For most people, these reduced vowels sound like and as we've said, we use the schwa symbol in these cases. Some people use a slightly different quality in some of their reduced vowels these days. For these speakers, reduced vowels might sound more like I. I'm one of those speakers, and you can likely hear many I-like reduced vowels in my speech. For the purposes of this class, you don't have to distinguish between reduced vowels that sound like schwa and reduced vowels that sound like I. You can if you like, but you can also choose to represent all reduced vowels as schwa, and you'll be fine. Note that this does not mean that you can ignore the small capital I symbol altogether, though. Remember that I is often a stressed vowel, as in linen or in sister. And also remember that in words that end in ing, such as riding, we'll transcribe that ending using the small capital I symbol. So the use of schwa only pertains to reduced vowels that might sound like I. We should also note one other reduced vowel that we've touched on, and that's schwar, which looks like this. Remember that schwar is used for rhotic monophthongs that are unstressed. Well, this is essentially a reduced vowel situation, just like schwa. So if schwa starts to make sense to you, then schwar will too. One last thing to note, as it can frequently trip up students as they're learning to transcribe. Although many vowels will reduce when they're unstressed, not all vowels do this. Some vowels keep their original underlying vowel quality even when they're unstressed. So, just because a vowel is unstressed doesn't mean that it's automatically reduced. For example, in a word like reality, the first vowel is unstressed, but it clearly sounds like E, not like schwa or even like I. So you have to transcribe this as the vowel E, even though it's unstressed. I refer to this as an unstressed vowel that retains its full vowel value, meaning that the vowel quality remains the same even when it's unstressed. Another good example of this is the word fantastic, where the vowel in the first syllable retains its quality as a, even though it's unstressed. What I like about this example is that some people have started reducing this vowel, so you can actually hear both versions if you listen to enough people. Try listening for people who say fantastic. They're out there, although they aren't yet plentiful. Finding contrasts like this is a great way to learn how sounds behave. It's also a great way to develop an appreciation for speaker-to-speaker variability. Now, how do you know whether a given unstressed vowel is reduced or not? You have to listen, and listen closely. These are among the more difficult transcription decisions for students of phonetics. Many people find that saying words in different ways can help. For a word like reality, for example, I might try saying it with a reduced vowel, like this, reality. And I'd notice that this sounds wrong in some way. You'll remember that this asterisk before a form is a linguist's way of saying that something never happens. Saying words wrong can be a very powerful way to judge different transcription options, but it does take some real practice to become good at saying things wrong.